Oh, that's us. That's us. Perfect. Okay. Heather, you can hop back on if you want now that we got the right screen on there. So appreciate the nice kind words, Curtis, and we love working with IMS advisors. You guys know what the heck you're doing. And it feels like a family over there. And that's more than anything else, that's kind of the type of advisors we like working with. And so I run the business development side at White Glove, and we're going to kind of go into some facts about, what's working today, what the heck White Glove does. And then as we're doing that, Heather is also joining us today. She is our top marketing consultant, and she works directly with the IMS advisors. And we have a special deal for everybody on here today that if you sign up to have a call with Heather, you're going to get $250 just locked in of White Glove dollars of anything you want to spend. And there's also some pretty cool promos that we're going to do here at the end. So Curtis, I don't know if you're able to throw that link into the chat, but anybody that signs up for that today is automatically going to get locked in with that $250 as long as you sign up for that today. So kind of jumping right in here of what White Glove does and the results that we've seen. There's four real things that make us different. We're built by advisors. We do all of the work. We take all the financial risk, and we guarantee actual results. And probably the fifth thing that makes us different is we have seminar experts like Heather that work on our team as opposed to just salespeople. So we've been doing this for quite a long time. We were kind of the leader and pioneer of digital marketing and done for you events. We've been doing this since 2015, back when social media platforms had open agreements with data companies, and you could do all the sorts of the filtering and algorithms and all that kind of creepy spying stuff that new people jumping into the business don't have those opportunities. But since we have a unique model where we take all of the risk up front, we pay all the marketing costs, it really allows us to learn what's actually working and what brings in the highest revenue for advisors. And we in 2015 we started with seminars with that very simple talk track. I'm sure Heather misses the days when she could say, well, just tell us where your best clients come from and then go back to work and we'll find a venue. We do the marketing. You only pay us on the households that show up, right? And you pay after your event. And we still have that business model, and we've used that to promote seminars for the last 7 years. And, it was really based on, standing shoulder to shoulder with our advisors. And we fully took the risk of marketing didn't work, or if there was a snowstorm or the library shut down. And what happened in 2020 to all of us was very interesting, is running an in-person seminar company that was paid on attendance during a global pandemic. So we went right from 600 to 700 events in February to 0 events in March. And what we found that we absolutely needed to do was still find ways to connect advisors to potential clients. So we introduced webinars, and much like myself and every other presenter out there, we learned very quickly that advisors were awful at presenting on webinars, and the tech was more of a headache than we thought it would be. So after we brought webinars to the market, we were probably the first company to do so. We turned around and said, you know what, let's just do all of this for the advisor. Let's run the tech, let's run the pop-ups, let's record it ahead of time and audit it to make sure it's good. And then, oh, by the way, let's talk to our top performing advisors that are crushing it with webinars, and let's get them to teach all of our other advisors how to do these things correctly. And that's when we launched both hands-free webinars, but also White Glove University. The high consumer demand for people that wanted information and maybe they didn't want to sit through a seminar or webinar led us to launch our one-on-one appointments, our consultation appointments. And then ultimately what we saw was best practices from advisors in the trenches were those that had robust social media presences, ongoing email drip campaigns, and were staying in front of their leads on an ongoing basis. And those were the ones that were seeing highest ROI with our program. So that's why we came out with White Glove One, which is that full service model that does everything. And that's just kind of an evolution of where we've come from. We still, our bread and butter is still seminars. We still have advisors doing webinars. And this white glove one is really to optimize every sort of lead service that they use with us. Heather, I'd love if you wanted to kind of step in real quick and just kind of explain some of the work we do when we talk about how we do all the work when it comes to seminars and webinars. Let's talk specifically about seminars quickly, if that's okay.
Yeah, well, everything that the advisor or the agent does not want to do, we'll do for them. And that means, all of the event planning minutiae. So white glove will find and book the venue in your area that you would like to have a seminar. This would be an area where your best possible prospects come from, but we're going to look for the schools, libraries, community center, town hall, chamber of commerce, anything with a neutral, ideally educational feel, if not, then a neutral feel. So we will book that venue, provide the liability insurance, whatever's necessary to lock it down. And then we do all of the marketing. We take in the registrations, send the confirmation emails, make the reminder phone calls, because the onus is on white glove to wrestle all those registrants into the room, because you don't pay until the day after your event, and then only for the households that actually attend. So you're not paying, $6,000 up front and fingers crossed that people show up. You're going to pay for our performance rather than effort. So pay after the event for households, only the households that actually attend.
And could you tell us a little bit about how an advisor would go about setting their budget for one of these events? Like, does white glove just pack out the room and deliver 50 people and blow through their budget, or how do they get to set their own budget?
No, so we have a minimum order of 20 households. In order to make this a viable service for anybody, we request that you order 20, at the minimum 20 households. But if only 13 attend, you only pay for 13. You will know the max amount that you will be required to pay. And that's a 20% over. We have a 20% overage policy in place because, marketing is not an exact science. So if you request 20 to attend and 24 do, you're on the hook for 24, but not for any more than that. You are not on the hook for number 25 or 26. Is that what
I think, yeah, we really try to be very flexible with your budget in mind. So if you have a max amount you want to spend, we're going to set that so that we don't go over that. But she's absolutely right. If you request 20 and only 18 show up, 13 show up, 0 show up because the library burned down the night before because a boiler exploded, that happened one time with us, you don't pay anything. It's free for you. So we take on all of that risk. And one thing I just want to kind of highlight here is, to fill your events more effectively, and you can use this data whether you use white glove or not, but right now what we're seeing, the best performing topics are estate planning and taxes and retirement. The fulfillment rates at those are almost 100%, a little bit higher for estate planning. And this is what we've seen so far this year. So a fulfillment rate just means if an advisor ordered 20, we got 20. The worst performing topics. So product, if we constantly have guys say, hey, can you fill a room full of people that want to buy an annuity or are interested in buying this specific product? Well, full transparency, if I could fill a room full of 20 people that want to buy an annuity, I'd probably just get my own life and health license and go do that, but it just doesn't work. People aren't interested to attend a product seminar. Scare tactics, people are scared enough. There's no need to probe those fears anymore to get people to attend an event. And interestingly enough, generalized retirement planning just keeps going down and down and down. It keeps performing worse. At the beginning of the year, we were seeing about a 70% fulfillment. Now we're at less than 40%. It's because people have specific concerns. And when you talk about how taxes can affect their retirement, especially thinking on, well, what happens in 2026? Or how are my future generations going to get the hard-earned money that I have? You have to have something specific to bring them in. General retirement, people are kind of over that topic as it stands today. So Heather mentioned real quickly that we're going to find a neutral venue or a educational venue. That's for a very specific reason. The best performing venues, libraries and community centers, that's where we see our highest fulfillment. If you think about it, anytime you're inviting someone to an educational event, if you host it somewhere they've been sold something. That's the easiest way to think it. Business center, hotel, something like that has a sales stench to it, you're going to have poor results when it comes to people actually showing up. Your registrations might be fine, but less and less people will actually show up to those events because the day of they think, oh, you know what? I don't want to go down to that business center, even though that conference room is beautiful. Someone's going to try to sell me something. And if you really, really want to have a terrible performing seminar, just host it in your office. Host it in the conference room that is attached to your office. You absolutely should use those spaces for your current clients and have those clients invite new people. You should never use those spaces for a prospecting seminar with people that don't know you. It just, any of those types of venues say you're going to sell me something, they're not going to show up. So if you're planning seminars, White Glove takes all of this into account and we're going to work with you on it. If you're going to do it on your own, just kind of keep that in mind. We want you to see success, even if it's not with us. But if you're doing retirement at a business center, you're going to see worse results than if you're doing, estate planning at a library. So just kind of keep that in mind as you move forward with events with us or without us. Our top performing topics: taxes and retirement, estate planning, and Social Security. Social Security's seen a pretty big resurgence in the last year. People are very concerned about it again, and all people. You get a mixed bag when you do a Social Security event. You're going to have people in there that have significant assets. You're going to get people in there that have already filed for Social Security and trying to figure out how they get an extra $50 a month. Taxes and retirement. 4 or 5 years ago, White Glove started marketing this topic, and it was literally pulling teeth to get advisors to talk about it. I can't count the number of times that myself or Heather heard, well, I'm not a CPA, I don't want to talk about taxes. And we spent probably a year educating advisors on how you go from talking about financial vehicles and how they're taxed to talking about investments and annuities and opportunities in their investment portfolio. And that transition just seems so natural now. Advisors love it. We see a pretty highly affluent audience that are attending taxes and retirement. The downside of that is every advisor wants to talk about taxes in retirement, all of them. And how marketing works, the more you market something specific in a specific area, the less it's going to be effective. Estate planning just kind of lingers out there as this topic that pulls in very highly affluent prospects that advisors are actively avoiding, because it seems like they've mastered the position of, okay, and now I know how to pivot from taxes into actual retirement assets, but they haven't quite connected the dots yet of, oh, if I'm talking about an estate plan and future generations, I am also looking at all of their financial assets. And to pivot that into maybe I can help you with that is just something advisors haven't become comfortable with yet. But I will tell you that there's more affluent prospects that'll attend a estate planning event over any other topic that we're doing right now. And there's less of your competitors talking about this. So that's something to just think about tossing that into your marketing mix here. For webinars, I can sum all this up very, very quickly. You don't have to learn anything except how to give a good presentation. You're going to do the presentation, you're going to record it, we're going to watch it, give you some pointers if we think you need some. We're going to give you a coaching class ahead of time so you can see from an advisor who's done 150 webinars and has a 10-to-1 ROI what he does. And then you just go on about your day. It's best suited for advisors that are willing to meet prospects virtually, have Zoom conversations, because that's how those prospects want to interact. They're signing up for a webinar because they're comfortable at their home. They want to learn this information. They're comfortable on their computer. So just meet them there. But for the advisor that can, adapt their presentation, master the webinars, add water and stir to the process that we have, webinars are an amazing tool to book appointments while you're at your kid's baseball game, to book appointments while you're on a flight headed down to family vacation, because we're going to do all the work. We're going to play that recording. We're going to use pop-ups, polls, chats. We're going to put your link in there, and you just work the appointments afterwards. It's probably the most robust lead generation service out there. And I always joke that if it was 2019 and I was on stage and I said to all the advisors in the audience, what if you recorded your seminar one time and I got you leads off that one recording for the rest of the year? I would have sold out. Like, that'd be it. Advisors would be like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I get my nights and weekends back. I never have to go to a restaurant again. I never miss another kid's baseball game. Sign me up. But since everything was forced on us in 2020, and there was a lot of cut rate companies out there that put some real bad tastes of webinars in advisors' mouths, it doesn't have the appeal that it really should. The advisors that have embraced it, that have said, hey, you know what, I want more leads, I want unlimited leads, and I want to get those while I'm enjoying my family time, that's probably the best fit for the webinar product that we offer. One thing just to note here, we've done just under 1,400 events so far this year. In-person events, 96% of those we're filling up to exactly the numbers the advisor wants. Virtual events are over 100% fulfillment rates. So if you think that there's no point to getting into webinars now, that's dying down. People are getting back out in their communities, going to libraries and stuff again, going to dinners again. That's true. They are getting back out. Seminars are back. They've been back for a year. But webinars are still effective. They're absolutely still effective, and people are signing up for these things. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're looking into, well, what is the best fit for me? White Glove University, it's probably the coolest thing that White Glove has done in a couple of years here. We've always kind of stressed ongoing coaching and professional training with our advisors because we want them to be more successful. Heather herself has sat through presentation training from some of the best in the industry, the Frank Masellis, the Paul Karasics, the Deirdre Van Ness. I mean, she's literally been through dozens and dozens and dozens of these trainings and worked with 1,000 advisors on how to perfect their seminars, what to say at the beginning, what to say at the end. But there's only one Heather, right? Luckily, you guys all get to work with her. But what we wanted to make sure was that every advisor that worked with White Glove could get those same and more information. So White Glove University, we make zero money on it, but it's just a pass-through cost to sign up. It's like $199 for most of the programs that you work with us on. It comes free, but it's all those professionals that I was talking about. We grab all their best practices, put them in here, and then we also just reach out directly to advisors that are using our system well and have them do personal trainings. We do roundtables, so where we bring in advisors using White Glove, and they can share their experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how to see a positive ROI on that. So something to just look into. Even if you never use White Glove, you could use White Glove University in order to really help you up your webinar game, up your seminar game, work with any other vendor that you happen to be working with that you like, but you could still use that service to get a bigger ROI on your next seminar. One of the things that we hear very regularly from advisors is, we're going to market the topic. We're going to get people to sign up that are interested to hear about taxes and retirement or estate planning. We're going to show you exactly what that marketing message says. But ultimately, we want you to be comfortable with the PowerPoint that you use. Many advisors, I think Heather has a couple of advisors that don't use a PowerPoint. They just use a whiteboard. But ultimately, what we found is you need to take ownership of your presentation. You need to be invested in it to be good at it. If you're going to spend $4,000 to $6,000 to stand in front of people, you probably should know what the heck you're saying and not just regurgitate something that someone else has put out there. So we always stress the advisor should be comfortable with the presentation more than this is the slides that you need to use. We have top rated providers, Horse's Mouth, Covisum, Broadridge. We know all of their presentations match our marketing message. Or you can use your own presentation, or one your IAMS might have something, or if you're with a BD, they might have something that needs to be approved and that they've created for you. But we want you to be very, very comfortable, and that Heather can walk through which option would be best for you if you needed help on that. Some of the things that she'll talk about is, what do you need? Do you want something a little bit more bland because you have strict compliance? Do you need something with a nice hook at the end of it? Do you need additional training around the topics? And she'll kind of take that information and make a suggestion for you of again, we don't make any money off of, if you go to these people, we probably should. We should probably go to them and say, hey, give us a cut, but we don't. We just want to provide a service to our advisors and make sure that they're comfortable with those presentations. What's the most important thing that we want them to do, Heather?
I haven't seen this slide in so long. It was always the best. It was like a flashback. As you were talking about the presentations, I was like, hey, who cares? Who cares what's on the screen behind you? This is really about making a connection with the audience. And you're only going to do that via stories. So yeah, I love this part. But my favorite call that I have with any of my presenters is, it's called the prep call, and it's the one where I coach you on, like as Brad alluded to, the best way to power open and what kind of stories to share and how to close and how to convey your passion for your topic. That call is my favorite. I get super jacked about it.
And she'll hold you accountable too. If you get on that phone call and you're like, oh, I haven't downloaded my presentation yet and in my webinars or my seminars next week, she'll hold you accountable and she'll coach you to make sure that you're not practicing up there in front of prospects. And that's something that we want you to have success, and we want you to make sure that you're having fun doing it. And we'll take all the stress and the burden off of it. But yeah, this is the old school slide from, I think, 2016 or something. I just love it. I think the little blonde one on the right there is actually one of Heather's daughters right there back in the day. So what we've always found is that in order to get the most optimal results from your seminars and webinars, you have to follow up after. You're going to get appointments at the event. That's always the goal, especially in person. But having a robust follow-up afterwards, text messages, emails, phone calls, you need that in order to optimize and getting the most out of those registrants. So what we've done is we've created a cadence, and it was 30 days, then it was 150 days, and then it was 60 days. And what we found through testing and testing and testing is a 45-day cadence that is mixture of phone calls, text messages, and emails. More than 80% of these campaigns generate appointments for advisors. And this is something we do on your behalf, that's branded to you, that books meetings on your calendar. And this is just one more way that we want you to see success when you're using our services. So what we've seen just over the years of, if you can track your data, look at the results that you're seeing, how many people attended, how many appointments did I get, what did my appointment to client conversion ratio, that's how you can increase your ROI. It's not always about more and more and more, which sounds weird from a marketing company that's trying to sell you more seminars, but that's not always the answer. Sometimes the answer is getting more appointments out of the marketing dollars you already spent. It's staying in front of the leads that already heard your name. We see that it's 8 to 13 touch points just in the industry as normal are needed to generate that first time appointment. Now, doing a seminar, getting them to raise their hand, that speeds that up immensely. But a couple of things to think about is 70% of affluent prospects will use LinkedIn to research professionals. Being on social media, having that presence so they can find you and find your credibility is so important right now. People will absolutely go to Facebook or LinkedIn and see if you have a resume on there, right? See if you have an ad on there that they can search you. Heather actually gave me the stat that there are more Facebook users in the world than there are Christians. And if that doesn't blow your mind, because it blew mine, but it should really say, hey, you know what? Facebook is not something I can ignore anymore. I hear Curtis all the time talk about how you guys need to have a strong presence on Facebook and how you need to, get on LinkedIn and start sharing things. He's 100% correct. And finally, just one more stat here is that in between 4 to 7 emails in a sequence will triple your response rates. So just think about those things if you're going to use our conversion campaigns. If not, build your own before your next seminar to make sure you're really maximizing that ROI. This is pretty simple. We take all of the risk. This is the third thing that makes us different. So we're built by advisors. We do all the work, and we take all of the financial risk. Heather was talking about it earlier, but there's no upfront marketing costs. There's no upfront venue costs. You're going to pay for the households that attend. You pay after your event. And ultimately, we succeed when you succeed. Our business is 100% based on reorders. We want to stand shoulder to shoulder with our advisors in everything that we do. And ultimately, we want you to see a positive ROI. That's the only way we're going to get you back and have you buy more and more and more. And Heather will tell you, the advisors that she works with that stick with the system, that do, 4 to 8 events a year, regular basis, those are the ones that 2, 3, 4 years down the road see success. And we actually have one of Heather's advisors. We have a case study here coming up in a few slides that she'll explain how it's been working with an advisor from stepping right out onto his own, brand new in the business, to last year he made $56 million in production. And White Glove is his only marketing method, right? So it does take some time, but we stand behind everything we do. We actually guarantee results when you're working with us. If you're doing only events with us, we're going to guarantee your registrations at no risk. It's our marketing dollars that we're spending here and risking. We guarantee that you get attendees. So that's insurance for weather, traffic, poor attendance, global pandemic, presidents tweeting something out and everyone's glued to their TV to see what's going on in Ukraine and they don't show up to your event. We take all those risks on. That's on us. And we actually guarantee that when you're working with us, you're going to pick up a new client as well. I still have not heard another marketing or seminar company in the industry guarantee that you're going to pick up a new client. When you're using White Glove One, which is our full service marketing, year-long nurturing campaigns, we even guarantee the amount of appointments that you're going to get off of the events that you're running with us. So we really want to stand behind absolutely everything that we do. This little convoluted mess here is how much we charge. It's a lot simpler than this looks, but you're going to set your price. You're going to set your budget. Heather's going to walk you through, what are you most comfortable with? Is it a webinar? Is it an in-person event at a library? Is it an in-person event at a Ruth Chris? We'll work on that with you to kind of set that budget. And then you get all sorts of special deals and prices and all this kind of good stuff coming up. And again, if you filled out that link that's in the chat already, you've saved $250, and we'll get you working with Heather to kind of take a look at your area and do a marketing review. But White Glove One, and we'll go through this pretty quickly here, is the service outside of the webinars and seminars. This service you can buy without using White Glove for any events. And what it does is it takes you from zero presence in the virtual world to a fully baked LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, as well as full year-long email campaigns to all your clients and all your prospects. And it's all run by a human being on the White Glove team. This isn't an intern that you hired for the summer to set up your newsletter. This isn't someone who just has another job in your practice that's trying to figure this stuff out. This is a human being on our team that all they do is run advisors' Facebook pages. All they do is run email campaigns to advisors, prospects, to try to generate appointments and stay top of mind. We talked about the different social profiles earlier, but ultimately the number one reason that a client leaves an advisor is because of lack of communication. And in today's age, that is gosh darn inexcusable. And I don't ever think that it's because the advisor lacks the will or the desire to do that. But I do think that where we sit today, you have to figure out how in the heck on this thing do you communicate with that person? Is it text? Is it phone? Is it email? Is it social? Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Twitter? How do you stay top of mind? And the question is you have to do it all, because some of your clients will never read your emails. Some of your clients don't pick up their phone. Some of your clients get all their news on Facebook. So you have to hit all of those channels in order to stay in front of your clients in a very effective way. And I'm not saying anything that Curtis hasn't said a dozen times every time I go to the the training academies and all of that stuff. And he's 100% right. Just listen to that guy. He knows what the heck he's talking about. We already talked about this, but if you have a prospect, there is a real good chance they're going to search for you on LinkedIn and find out if they like you, if they see you as a professional. Use this space as a resume. Use this space as a static ad that people are going to come see, and they can find credibility about you that you don't have to tell them. When they get on there and they see that you're a podcast host, when they get on there and they see the white paper that you've written or the article you published in Forbes or whatever, that's found credibility, and that's massively important. But you have to hit them on all channels. So we know there's other options out there, but White Glove is that all done, all-in-one solution where it's run by a human being, by a professional. There's nurturing campaigns to go to your existing leads to try to get them to book more appointments. There's engagement campaigns with your existing clients to stay top of mind, provide valuable information, and encourage referrals. And it's all done for you. On top of that, it comes with all sorts of crazy discounts. I can't remember all of them. Heather, I don't know. Do you know off the top of your head all the fun things that come with White Glove One as far as free stuff?
Don't you have it listed here?
I was literally just trying to give you a chance to talk, because I've been talking for like 10 minutes and I'd rather listen to you talk than me talk.
Okay. Well, those conversion campaigns, the 45-day cadence, that is absolutely necessary unless you have a steel trap in your office of how to properly nurture all of your leads. That thing's free. The White Glove University's free. The lead packages, that's the no-shows to your event, people who registered but did not attend. They are still very viable prospects. They saw they filled out their information, but for whatever reason couldn't attend that night. They still need your help, so you get the no-shows for free.
I love it. And I think we actually have a cool deal here coming up for IAMS people as well. But normally this service, it costs $6,500 a year, $600 a month. But ultimately what I like to say is, like, nurturing doesn't happen overnight, right? So this is just a system where you get a professional to run all this for you. You go back to your day job, and we're going to generate you appointments throughout the year based on marketing dollars you've already spent. You already bought the radio show leads back in 2017. You already did the TV spot in 2018 that you have somebody sitting in a CRM on your desktop. We're going to get in front of those people again to get your appointments out in front of them. So this is probably one of my favorite advisors that works with White Glove. His name is Kurt. He's down in Florida. I remember when he came to us at his first conversation, he said something along the lines of he was just stepping out onto his own. He'd only been in the financial industry a few years. He was starting his own practice. It was him and his wife. And he just said, hey, I just need something that'll work. I can't afford to throw marketing dollars at someone and then hope somebody shows up or pray that I get to have a conversation. So he started using us in 2016, and he's just a very genuine speaker. Like, his heart's just sitting right out there on his sleeve. So it's very easy for him to connect with people. But his first year of doing seminars with us, I believe he did 6 seminars. His first year ROI was a 3-to-1. And I say that's phenomenal, depending on how your practice is set up. But a first year, you're seeing a positive ROI. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. He adapted to webinars when he had to. He's active with White Glove One and all the nurturing programs. And if he looks at all of the human beings that sat in front of him during his webinars or seminars over the last years that he's worked with us, he's got a 15-to-1 ROI. Now that didn't happen in year 1, that happened in year 5 and year 6. But when the interesting thing is when you add in the referrals that he gets from the white glove attendees, oh, I wasn't there last night, but my neighbor Jim told me to give you a call because the seminar was so great. Or he adds in the appointments that were booked from the nurturing campaigns or the people that found him on Facebook and clicked through his links. His total ROI with white glove over all of these years that he spent money with us is 23-to-1. And I love this slide because your first year, 3-to-1, your 6th year, 23-to-1. And what that means for our practice is in 2017, he wrote 4 million in production. 2021, he wrote 56 million in production. And white glove is the only marketing service that he uses. That's it. He came to us and said, I'm just going to do whatever you guys tell me to do. And he worked with the team. He was one of those guys that did Social Security and didn't want to talk about taxes. We got him training on taxes. We got him software to use during his presentation so we could close more business. He's a guy that told me, he's like, I'm not on Facebook. I hate Facebook. I don't want anything to do with it. It's just people complaining and politics. And now he uses White Glove One, and he's picked up multiple clients off of his White Glove One subscription that if people have come in, but it's following that system, right? You can absolutely do one seminar with us, kind of roll that dice, see if you gain a client immediately. But ultimately what White Glove wants to do is to be that full service option for you. Go ahead, Heather.
Well, very specifically, I don't know if you remember, but very specifically, when Kurt first came to White Glove, he said, I have $4,000 left in his mark. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, he goes, I have $4,000 left in my marketing, but not to his name, but in his marketing budget. I got 4,000 left, and that's it. If this $4,000 doesn't work, then I literally have to find a new career, a new industry. Because he was pretty new to the industry, so he was going to say, all right, I gave it a shot, now I'm out. But he had 4,000 left, and that was it. Oh, I'm glad I told you something.
I love that. Yeah, if I'm gonna spend $4,000 on anything, it's gonna be standing in front of people that want to hear, know, and like, and trust me. So, but the data, the way we've marketed our events, the way that we've worked with advisors and trained in the industry, we're really here to service you, to help you to be that full service model. There's absolutely other ways to go about this business, right? But if you want to stand in front of people, you want appointments booked from webinars, if you want someone to take that burden of staying in front of your prospects off your plate, that's what White Glove specializes in. And there's pretty simple ways to work with us. If you signed up that form yet today, you're going to get $250 off. You're locked into that, and you can use it for anything you want. But you do have to talk to Heather, so I'm sorry about that. You'll have to have a conversation with her. But ultimately, what we want to do is be your partner in this. And for anyone that hasn't tried us yet, you haven't done a seminar with us, you haven't done a webinar with us, happy to answer some questions here. But also, we want to give you a special deal if you do sign up today. Same link. If you fill it out once, you're locked into this, but we are going to give you 20% off that first order with you. So that typically 60 households is going to be about 3 to 4 events, but we're going to work with you to see what fits your the demographics you like to work with, what fits your area, what's available, and we're going to get you in front of more people in a very stress-free, hands-free way. And Heather's going to coach you on how to close business from those events so that you keep coming back. Why did we do 60 households? Because the magic number with seminars and working with White Glove is about that 3 to 4 event tipping point. If someone does one with us, there's about a 50% chance they're going to love us and come back. It's usually, yeah, I love the service, but I didn't close on that first event, right? They might close 6 months later and then come back to us. But what we see is when an advisor does 3 to 4 events with us, they get really good at that presentation. They're starting to book more appointments. They're starting to close business off the first one by the time they're doing the fourth one. And now they stick with us for forever. As you can see, Kurt's been with us since 2016. There are dozens and dozens of advisors that have used us for just as long with same results, if not better. And that's what we want to put you in. We want to put you into a successful program. All you have to do is reach out to Heather, fill out that link. We'll lock you into both promos. And Curtis, I'm happy to wrap up with any questions that anybody has. All the difficult ones will go to Heather.
You didn't have me proofread this because you wrote Q1.
Don't talk to me about that. Why would you just point that out in front of everybody? That's rude.
Because everyone sees it.
Yeah.
I am your proofreader.
That's right.
No, so a couple of questions, and I see we got one guy that's having trouble on the white glove link. So I'll launch. What I'm gonna do is I don't know if you can put that up on the page for where they need to go, Brad.
Yeah, let me.
Or if it just doesn't work, they can email me and I'll do it myself.
I might have typed it in wrong. Like what I'll do here is I can launch a poll real quick. We're going to launch this real quick. And anybody that's interested in getting links sent out to them, just check yes, and then we'll get that sent over to you. But really good stuff today, Brad and Heather. I mean, I think everybody, you can probably see why we work with White Glove. I mean, it's not just how many registrations can we get, right? It's how many people are actually going to show up, how many people are going to get in front of you, so that way you've got an opportunity to do what you do best. You know, the other thing I would tell you as well is, and I'll go and close this down. I think we had everybody select that. But the other thing I would tell you is, Brad, to the point that you were just talking about, there's got to be consistency in your activity in order to have consistency in the results. And I think that's a trap that a lot of advisors will get into at times, where they're trying to find something, you know, some level of consistency in their business. And so it's, well, I'm going to try this thing and do a run of that. Then I'll try this other thing and do a run of that. And it's whatever you're going to do, you've got to do it in a capacity that you give it enough time to work. It's the same thing as if somebody was looking at radio as an example. You wouldn't do one radio show and then make a decision on whether it worked or not. You'd be doing that over a period of months to build a following. It's the same thing with the seminars. You've got to do a series, because you think about also the follow-up process on that. You start setting your first appointments, it might be 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks before you actually get your first application in, because you're meeting with that person 2 or 3 times afterwards. Well, you'd probably get your next event set up during that time frame and get that going to build that pipeline. So in any case, I think that was everything we had. We had everybody check the box on there. So I want to thank everybody for taking some time with us today on a Friday. Hope it was productive. Brad, Heather, appreciate you guys taking some time and sharing some insight and knowledge with us as well.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's a heck of a lot of fun. I like putting Heather on the spot in the middle of this thing. I didn't tell her before this webinar that she'd have to speak, so it was kind of fun. It was fun.
Cringed. Like, he will get punched in the throat after this, because I hate that.
All right. Well, it sounds like you got the rest of your Friday lined up. So appreciate everybody, and hope you have a good rest of the day and a good weekend. Thanks.